Hey everybody, welcome back. Mike from Spectre Comics here. We're going to continue our October of Scares video series with How to Draw Zero, Jack Skellington's loyal dog from A Nightmare Before Christmas. We just posted our Jack Skellington video about a week ago. Go ahead and check that out in the description if you haven't seen it. And we just posted our Oogie Boogie video as well recently. So the third video in our Halloween series is Zero. So let's go ahead and get drawing. Grab a piece of paper and a pencil and let's get started. So again, I'm drawing on my sketch pad instead of on my tablet, so I've been having fun with these. So we're going to continue doing them using a 0.7 lead, HB lead mechanical pencil. We're going to start out by drawing just a little circle for the top of his, for the head, and we're going to bisect it with a guideline and then draw his long snout. He's got a long nose that sticks way out in front of his body. His mouth's going to be slightly open. You're going to take the open part of the mouth all the way to the back of his skull, and it's just going to be open slightly. And we're going to put his eyes in. Eyes are basically eye sockets. He doesn't have eyeballs. We're just going to round those out, and then we're going to, manipulate the shape, the round shape of his head with, his eyes, with the socket of his eyes and basically the brow. We're going to kind of clean up the lines as we go and sketch out. He's got a little round nose that we're going to add at the tip of his snout. And his body's basically a sheet. So we're going to kind of spread the sheet out just under his chin, and we're going to take the line of where his back would be if he was a real dog, kind of back towards where his tail would be, and then just kind of create the sheet shape around. And because it's a sheet and it blows in the wind, it could be whatever shape you want. So you can follow what I'm doing, or you can make up your own. And we're going to go ahead to the top of his head and draw his ears. He's got very long ears, pointy, and they basically trail and float behind him just like his sheet body does. So they basically flap in the wind like flags. So we're going to give them a little ripple just like a flag would have. And again, as long as they're long and skinny and come to a point at the end, you can't really get this wrong. So I'm just kind of drawing a shape that looks like the ears are flapping behind him. I'm going to go back to the head and kind of add some detail to his face. We're going to tighten the lines around his eyes and round out the shape of his head and kind of clean up the sketchy lines on his snout. Fill in the eyes. We're going to just kind of shade them in a little bit because, again, they're eye sockets. There's no eyeballs in there. And trace around the edges of his eyes to kind of give them a ridge. And that's going to shape his head a little bit. We're going to just, again, tighten up the lines and erase as we go. We've got a lot of sketchy lines because we're just laying out the body shape. So we're going to tighten up the lines, darken them up, and finalize the lines. And again, I'm using my little eraser tool to clean up the fine edges. I saw a picture with Zero having a little glowing pumpkin nose. We're actually going to do that in this drawing because I thought that it looked fun to do, to just add a little more Halloween to the picture. So we're going to just draw a little jack-o'-lantern on the tip of his nose. The picture I saw, it was kind of glowing orange, so I thought that was funny. So we're going to draw that here. We're going to tighten up the lines around his mouth. And he's got a ridge around the back end of his mouth as well. The bottom part of his mouth, the bottom part of his jaw, also comes to a point, just like the snout does, but it's not as long. So make sure you take it a little. In this drawing, it's about a ½ inch past where the tip of his nose is, and then we're going to darken that up as well, all the way back to the opening of his mouth behind his eye, and just draw kind of a double line, just very thin double line right under where his chin would be. I'm going to kind of give him a little neck. That's where the sheet would kind of come together below his chin, and we're going to kind of add a little more detail and finalize the lines in his ears, which again are flapping in the wind, flapping in the breeze, and clean up the sketchy lines there. So that's basically his head. Now we're going to just add a little darker lines to his sheet body. Now you'll notice that his sheet body kind of spreads out under the chin, and you can kind of see behind it. So the line below is what you're seeing beyond. So the little line that kind of shows that the sheet is kind of going back to the back and around where his body would be. And again, you can't really get the sheet wrong because it constantly is changing shape. So as long as it looks like a sheet, and I tried to draw it with some ripples in it, as if because when he does move, it kind of ripples in the wind. So again, we're just going ahead and cleaning up the lines, and that's basically the drawing. So we're going to go ahead and start inking just like we did the Oogie Boogie and Jack Skellington videos. The links are in the description below if you haven't seen those videos, so go check those out. So those are fun as well, and nice Halloween themed for the month of October. I'm using the same pens I used on the other two drawings. This is a black Shortell inking or signing pen. Again, I use this pen because it has nice thick line, but it's got a very sharp point. So you can get a very fine line or you can get a thick line. And I like it because it's giving me a nice thick lines as we're inking our pencil drawings. So we're just following the lines and tightening up the whole drawing as we go along. And then we can add in the dark areas like in his mouth and in his eye sockets just by kind of coloring those in with the black pen. And we're just tracing the sheet. It's very simple. Once you get the sheet down, that's his whole body. So there's not really much to this drawing, but it's still fun to draw. Add it to our Halloween collection. And I'm going to use the finer tip pen when we get into the detail of the skeleton jack-o'-lantern nose. Filling in his eye sockets with the black and filling in his mouth as well. So the one thing to be careful is here, because I'm using a thick pen and because the lines are really thin around his mouth, when you draw a straight line with your hand, it's going to tend to ripple a bit. So that's where the thick pen was not working in my favor there. So there's a couple of lines, straggling lines there. But we filled in the jack-o'-lantern nose with a little detail. If you zoom really close in, you'd actually be able to see some triangle eyes and a little jack-o'-lantern smile. And that is basically the zero drawing. Hope you had fun following along. Really simple drawing. This one didn't take long at all. I think I sped up the video about 200%, but this drawing itself took me about 12 minutes, 13 minutes to do, including inking. So just a fun addition to our Halloween series for the month of October. So if you like the video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get more videos. I've got my next Halloween video is going to be Sally from A Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm looking forward to doing that one in the next day or two. So hope you had fun watching the video. Go ahead and leave a comment below if you have any other characters you want me to draw for Halloween, or anything you want to draw together. Just let me know down in the comments. That's it for this video. Hope to see you next time, and have a nice day. See you later.